Hey there, I'm the Derp Developer, and this is episode 2 in our Arma development series. In this video, I just want to prove that I am a dirty, filthy liar, and that when I say we're gonna go into the next editor, or sorry, into the editor in the next video, um, I want people to know that I'm always lying, I guess, because in this video, we're not going into the editor. So I'd like to apologize for that. I would also like to take this opportunity to apologize for the derps to be had here. Hopefully you can accept them. Um, so in this video, I want to first touch on a couple more text editors that you can use if you don't want to use Visual Studio Code. I also want to go over the very, very basics of SQF syntax, its rules, and the layout. Okay? So, jumping right in, the text editors that you can use, I'll start with Visual Studio Code because that's what I'm going to be using. Super easy to use. Download it, install it, very minimal effort on your part in getting it set up. After it's installed, you'll want to open it up and go to your extensions manager and you'll type in SQF. And the only two SQF plugins out there right now are going to come up. SQF language, which provides all of the syntax highlighting for the language, and SQF lint, which adds all the features like hover support, signature help, and autocomplete. Both very crucial, so I would go ahead and install those. And that's it. You're done. You're ready to start coding in SQF. You know everything. Go make a super awesome mission. JK. So that's the first one. Second one would be Notepad++. This one is very solid. I've used it for a while. I still have it, and I use it for various things. That is not SQF. They do have an SQF plugin for it. I will provide links to these in the description, but it's up to you to install them and get them set up. The next one, the last one, is Poseidon Tools. This one is a modified version of Sublime Text 2, specifically built to work with SQF. It's also very solid. I used this for a very long time before I found VS Code, so I would highly, highly recommend this, more so over Notepad++, although I have not used the SQF plugin for Notepad++. So, those are my other two recommendations. Obviously, I recommend VS Code over all of them, just because it's very light, very versatile, and it's Microsoft. Visual Studio has always been pretty sweet. Getting back to the editor, instead of staring at my desktop, I want to go over the very basics, the absolute, like, sticks and stones, pretty much, of the SQF syntax. A couple rules that are very important, and the layout. Starting off, the first thing you need to know is what a statement is. And a statement is just any line of code. Every line of code is a statement. True. Come on. Then, boom. That doesn't need to be capitalized. That's an if statement. It's a conditional, some conditional logic. But this is a statement up here, and this is a statement up here. I mean, down here. Lol. So every line of code is considered a statement. Every statement must end in a semicolon. The semicolon is the bane of your existence, and pretty much the bane of every programmer's existence. One missed semicolon has the potential to break your entire program or mission or game mode or whatever it is that you're scripting or programming. So, very important. Every statement must end with a semicolon. Now, there's one exception to this rule, and that is the last statement of your SQF code doesn't need a semicolon. And in fact, if you go look up the documentation, it's actually recommended that you don't have a semicolon on your last SQF statement. And that's for the end of the file. It also applies to if statements or commands like if statements. If it's inside these curly braces, it can go without a semicolon because you're going to have a semicolon at the end of your curly braces. And anything that brings us right to our next topic is blocks. Anything within curly braces is considered a code block. And a code block is essentially just a group of statements put together in curly braces. So the only exception to the semicolon rule is the very last statement of the file or the last statement inside a block. Okay? So, B equals 4, C equals super long thingy, whatever that is. Get rid of the letters because we just want an int. Those are statements. Statement is a line of code. Every statement must end with a semicolon except the last one at the end of the file or within a block of code. Blocks of code are statements that are grouped together within curly braces. And last but not least, every statement typically goes on its own line. You can put these statements on the same line. Like that is perfectly valid because of that semicolon. However, it's kind of an unwritten rule that every statement goes on its own line. And that's essentially it. That's the basic sticks and stones of SQF syntax and SQF rules. Is that statements end in semicolons, they go on their own line, and statements can be grouped together in blocks with curly braces. Okay? And there's another quick thing I want to touch on, and that's code comments. Comments are typically used to explain what something is and what it does, and they're completely ignored by the game engine. This line does not get executed because it's a comment. It's not a statement. Therefore, we don't need a semicolon there. That is a line comment. It starts with a double slash at the beginning. A multi-line comment or a block comment starts with a slash and asterisk and ends with an asterisk slash, and anything between those is part of the comment. You can use multi-line comments to comment out code that you don't want to run. If it's broken or if it's not finished yet, you can comment that code out, and now the engine will ignore that block of code. Multi-line comments can also be used for more formatting stuff, something that you need a few different lines to explain something on. We're going to be using these very heavily. And that's another thing is, don't feel like this video is the only video you're going to get on syntax and rules and everything. We're going to touch on that stuff and explain it in so much more detail than this. I just want to get this part out of the way so that way our first actual scripting video can be spent actually scripting instead of answering why there's semicolons at the end of each statement and why some code is inside of curly braces and why other code is not. Okay? So that's about it. I can go ahead and bring this video to a close. If there's anything I did not explain sufficiently, please ask in the comments and I will do the best I can to explain it to you. I hope you are enjoying it so far. It's about to get really fun. These videos coming up, they're going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to talk about the Arma editor. We're actually going to get in there this time, or will we? You never know, because I'm a dirty liar. But no, we're going to get in there. We're going to go over some basic features. We're going to create a mission and save it. I'll show you where those mission files get saved to, and we'll start with the beginnings of how to manipulate those files. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so thank you very much. If you enjoyed the video, please like, please subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next one.